any single bug can damage or can spoil your complete product. Okay, so to overcome this problem, we have a tool. We have automated this thing. Now we don't need human beings to perform same activity again and again. We are the humans. We can find the solution. So our solution is that we developed a way to automate our website. We can directly run the script and it will give me the result. This script I can execute hundred of times, thousands of times, and this is all about automation testing. No manual work is done. The same activity can be done hundred of times, thousands of times, and it increases the efficiency and it makes your task faster and your test coverage increases. Also, it provides you reusability. The same code, same script you can use again and again. Okay, and Selenium is open source and highly popular tool for automation. Okay, so automation testing here we are discussing because Selenium is an automation testing tool. Now, when it comes to automation and testing, first of all, we should be knowing about why we are testing. Okay, so testing is to make sure quality of your product is good. Now, what is quality here? Quality is something that is fit for use, that is usable. You're developing a software that is not good for use, that means quality is poor. Okay, so our purpose is to develop a good quality product. Now, quality assurance. Quality assurance, I'll call it QA. It's about meeting the needs and the expectation of the customer with respect to functionality, design, reliability, durability, etc. It means you have a software and you have to make sure that software meets the expectation of your customer. Meets the expectation, like your customer can have the expectation your product should be easy to use, it should be easy to understand, it should be easy to work with, it should be reliable. So all these expectations, when it meet, it means you are testing the quality and you are assuring the quality of that product. Okay, so now we know what is automation testing, what is quality, and what is quality assurance. All right, so here comes Selenium. Selenium is an automation testing tool. We already know. Now here, let's wait. Hold on. Who's this person? This person is Jason Huggins. Now we have to wait here and let's travel back to time. Ready for some time travel into the past? And here, a long time ago in the year 2004, there was a guy named as Jason Huggins. Okay, Chicago. And he was working on a web application that required frequent testing. Okay, now this frequent testing, he was so tired of working or doing this testing manually. So he realized that the repetitious manual testing of their application was becoming more and more inefficient. Okay, and to overcome this problem and to make his task easier, he developed a JavaScript program, and he called this JavaScript program as JavaScript Test Runner. Okay, and he like spread information or awareness related to JavaScript runner. And later on, many other developers or many other these IT people came together, and the name of this JavaScript test runner became Selenium. And now Selenium is just not a single tool, it's a suite of tools. That means it's a whole collection of tools. So that's something about from where Selenium came into the picture. Okay, now we will discuss about what is Selenium. We should know some technical terms. We should have some technical knowledge. Okay, so here is Selenium is an open source automation testing tool for quality assurance. Now it's open source. It means that you can get it from anywhere. Okay, it's freely accessible. You can just download the Selenium jar file and you can use it. Now another advantage of using Selenium is that it supports various browsers and various platforms. That means it is browser independent as well as platform independent. It means browser independent, that is, it can be run on Mozilla Firefox, it can be run on Safari, on Chrome, or any browser available in the market. Okay, so what you have to do, you have to just write your Selenium script only once and you can run it on any browser that you see. Okay, now other than this, the same script you can run on any operating system. Let's say I'm working on Windows and one of my friend is working on Linux and we are testing a website. Okay, and I'm expecting this website behavior should be same on Linux as well as on Windows. Okay, so I need a tool to test a website on different browsers and on different operating systems. Okay, so for that we have Selenium here, and this is the biggest point, or you can say plus point of Selenium, that it is browser independent as well as this is platform independent. Now there is one more thing about Selenium, is that Selenium supports various languages. It means it supports Java, it supports Python, Ruby, Perl. There are so many languages in which you can write your code. So it's like it's not restricted. If you know Java, you can write your script in Java. If you don't know Java and you know Python, no problem. You can write your code in Python as well. So it's very flexible, very powerful, and this is what makes Selenium such a powerful and a dominating tool in IT industry. Okay. Now, the very important thing about Selenium is that it is not just a single tool, but a collection of software or a suite of software. That means in Selenium, we have a variety of frameworks and a variety of tools available. Just like we are going to discuss here TestNG. Other than TestNG, we have JUnit. We can integrate Selenium with Jenkins. We can use Cucumber. Here we have various other approaches like behavior-driven development. We have test-driven development. So it's not just a single software. It's a collection of software. And there are so many technologies that you can use with Selenium. Okay. And that's why Selenium is so popular in this industry. Now, what is TestNG? We know what is Selenium, what is automation testing. Okay, so automation testing is writing some script and running it, and for this activity we have Selenium as a tool. Okay, now if we have Selenium, then why do we need TestNG? Okay, so TestNG is a framework in Selenium, and here TestNG is an open source testing framework. Okay, you can directly download it and use it. It is inspired from JUnit and NUnit with some new additional functionalities that make it more powerful and easier to use. I told you, with Selenium, you can use various other tools and softwares and frameworks. Okay, one of those frameworks, this TestNG, is very powerful and very strong. Now, what makes this TestNG so powerful and strong is the additional features that are provided with this. Okay. Yeah, we have two other competitors of TestNG. These are JUnit and NUnit. Okay, JUnit stands for Java Unit Testing. Okay, it is for Java-based unit testing, and N is .NET-based unit testing. TestNG provides you so many additional frameworks or so many additional features that make it completely different from these competitors. Okay, we will see very soon what are those things and what makes TestNG so important that we need a webinar on this. All right. Now, the very first thing about TestNG, it provides additional annotations. Now, what are annotation and what are these additional annotations? We will see very soon. It follows test-driven development approach, which is TDD. It means, see, we have various approaches. The very famous approach in our industry is test-driven development. If you are completely unaware of this, I'll give you a short introduction. Whenever you start testing a website, okay, what you do in test-driven development, first of all, you need to write the test script. Okay, now based on that test script, you develop your code. That is, it is test first type of approach. You write your test script first, and to make the test script successful, developers write their code. That's why it is known as test first approach. Here, first of all, you write the test script and then you execute or you write your code. Okay, so this is TDD approach. Now, here comes the most genuine question about TestNG. Okay, you might have heard this question many times, like people discussing about why companies are using TestNG more over JUnit for functional testing. I think this question might be sitting in your mind also. Okay, if it's not there, that's okay. I will discuss here. And the reason, the same in simple terms, you can say why companies are moving towards TestNG than JUnit or NUnit, okay, for functional testing. So before actually moving on the points, okay, point by point, why it's moving towards TestNG. First of all, I would like to show you the flow of TestNG, okay, how TestNG works. All right. So here, this is my friend, my colleague Daniel. Okay, this person, he's my colleague and he is very happy. Now why he is happy? The reason is automation testing. Okay, automation testing makes your life and the testing activity very simple and easy. Now how it makes simple? When you integrate Selenium with TestNG, your complete work is so organized, simple, and in a proper manner that everything becomes sorted and easy. Okay, now how this Selenium and TestNG works? The flow is the tester writes the script using Selenium. Okay, and that script is executed by integrating TestNG. Okay, now when you execute a TestNG script, you get a result in a very simple way. Okay, now the simple way is that, see, when you have to test a website, let's suppose we have IT Learn 360. For IT Learn 360, I'm going to test the home page, the login page, and various other pages. Okay, now when I'm just testing it using Selenium, I have to manually sit here in front of my machine and I have to see whether my script is executed successfully or not. Okay, if you have some knowledge of Selenium, then you can easily relate it. But if you don't have, just relax, don't worry. I'll share the example. Let's say we have IT Learn 360. This is my IT Learn 360 website and I'm testing it. So with simple Selenium, I have to keep an eye on everything and I have to be attentive. Now, if I have to be attentive and check the script, then what's the use of using a automation tool? Okay, so to overcome this problem, we will use TestNG. Now, how TestNG is going to help us? Okay, so when I integrate my code, my script with TestNG, I'll just execute my code. I'll take a break of 5 to 10 minutes. I'll go, I'll take a coffee, and I'll come back and see the result. Okay, that means I need not to see how my script is executed. I'll just run my script and I'll leave it. Okay, and now I'm interested in the result. Okay, here is my result. TestNG provides you a clear picture of your result. Okay, the result is, see, inside your Selenium script, we have Selenium test methods. We have so many things like I'm testing login, then I'm testing logout, I'm testing create account or search. Okay. So TestNG will give me a final report like your login was successfully executed. It took this much time, like it took 33 seconds, it took 45 seconds. I'll get a clear picture of how many my test methods were executed successfully and how many failed and what's the reason behind the failure, how many test methods were skipped and how much time it took for the overall execution. So it makes our task very, very, very easier. Now, TestNG provides you one more facility. That is, whatever report you are able to see in front of you, you can see it in the form of a HTML file. Your HTML file is more like GUI based. You can clearly look at it and you can understand everything. Now, you have one more thing that is provided by TestNG is that you can directly mail this report to your respective team members. You can share this file. Okay, so this test method was failed and this is the reason. Developer needs to work on this. So this is a complete flow of your Selenium with TestNG. And when you integrate Selenium with TestNG, your testing becomes very easier and you need not to do automated manual work. Okay, so it is complete automation here. Now, we will be discussing about what makes TestNG different from JUnit or NUnit. Why companies are moving towards TestNG. Okay, so here, because TestNG has the flexible unit testing by its annotation. Okay, TestNG provides you so many different annotations, the complete hierarchy. Okay, we'll be discussing about what's the hierarchy and what are those annotations in some time. Just wait. Okay, now, the biggest advantage of using TestNG is the annotation. It provides you a wide variety of annotation. When you have a wide variety of annotation, your work becomes simple. Okay. Now, TestNG can be easily managed by XML file. TestNG provides you XML file for each and every test class. Okay. And you can directly run this XML file. TestNG, it provides support for You can give parameter just like in any programming language. Whenever we create methods, we like to give some parameters. Okay, just like that here in TestNG also you can give parameters directly. It gives you the way to set priority. You can directly set priority of your test method, in which order they will get executed, and you can divide your test into groups and you can run those groups individually. Okay, if you don't understand these points, don't worry, we'll be discussing about each and everything in detail here. Now, the biggest advantage of TestNG is that you can directly integrate it with Jenkins. Jenkins is our continuous integration and continuous deployment tool. Okay. Now, just take an overview. All of these additional features are provided by TestNG. These are not present in JUnit or NUnit. Okay, that's why companies are moving towards TestNG. So the very first thing provided by TestNG is the annotation that we have seen, we have discussed here. Annotation. Grouping, TestNG provides you grouping, it provides you priority and ordering, it provides you dependency, skipping test to skip any test at any time, it provides you test suite, which is a collection of test cases and test classes. Parallel execution, you can run the same code on different browsers at the same time. And parameterization, you can pass parameters, you can even decide how many like what is the priority or how many times you are going to call a particular method. And here, preserving order. If you want to decide the order in which your test methods or test cases should get executed, you can do this with TestNG. Invocation, thread pooling, it provides you load testing. You can decide which thread will be called how many times. Okay. It provides you data-driven testing. Just unlike giving some hard-coded part or some hard-coded values, here you can give an Excel sheet where you can write all the possible combination and you can pass those values. It provides you listeners if at any point you are interested in modifying the kind of result or the kind of report you are getting. If you are interested in changing that or modifying it according to your needs, then you can use listeners. Okay. TestNG reports, here it will give you a HTML report, which is very like user friendly. You can directly look at it and you can understand, okay, what was the result of the execution. It also provide you a emailable report that you can directly email to your respective team members or colleagues or the seniors, whatever you like. So these are some points that we will cover in this webinar. Okay, so let's first of all discuss about annotation. Annotation, yeah. From like we are discussing from a long time, TestNG provide lots of annotation. Okay, now what those annotations are, before that we should have some knowledge of what is an annotation, what kind of word it is. Okay, so annotation, it is a command that is added to a text or a method. Okay, now TestNG provides you a wide variety of annotation, and your annotation starts with this symbol, the @ symbol. Okay, so we have various annotations, like we have @test annotation. This holds a meaning. Whenever you use it, there is some particular activity that will get executed. Each of these annotations that we use inside TestNG, they hold some predefined meaning. It provides a clear picture of program execution. Okay, these annotations, they follow a proper hierarchy. Okay, and this hierarchy will give you a clear picture of the program execution, how it's being executed and how it should get executed. Everything you can easily understand by just looking at the annotations. Okay, it helps in code reusability. Okay, it allows us to pass additional parameters. In annotations, you can give additional parameters. Okay, now let us see how our annotations look like. What are these annotations? Okay, as I told you, your annotation starts with this symbol. Okay, these are different annotations provided by TestNG. There are many more that we'll discuss soon. So very first annotation here it provides is before suite. We have before test, before class, before method, we have test, after method, after class, after test, and after suite. Okay, so these are the name. Now, what is the meaning of this before suite or before test? Okay, so I'll be starting from here, test. Okay, so to test any website, if you are testing IT Loan 360, if you are testing it, that means you will write the test case inside test method. Okay. Just for example, for IT Learn 360, I'm going to test login functionality. Okay. In login functionality, what you will test? You will test that username and the password and the sign in button. Okay. You are able to give the valid username, valid password or not. All right. So this method, this complete code I'll write inside test annotation. This is what I'm supposed to test. If I write anything inside this test annotation, that means this is the actual thing that is to be tested. All right. Now, before method and after method, as you can see the hierarchy, they cover, or it's a kind of sandwich. Okay. Before method and after method, they cover test. Now, if I want to execute any activity before executing this test or after executing this test, then I can use before method and after method. Okay. Now, inside test, I'm performing right now login. Okay. Then after some time, I'll perform create account. I'll order something like that. So I have different test annotations. Okay. Now, every time I run any code, I want to launch my browser or I want to initialize my variables. Okay, so variable initialization kind of things I can put inside before method. Okay, so this is where you will use before method and after method. Where whatever code you will write inside before method and after method, it will be executed just before each test method and just after each test method. Okay. Now, before class and after class. Before class and after class covers this part. Okay. It means definitely you are writing some code inside a class. If we talk about Java, okay, if we are talking about Java, our code is written in the form of class. Okay. So we are writing our test methods inside a class. Now, before a test class and after a test class, if I want to perform any activity, then I'll be using before class and after class. Okay. Just like I'm going to connect to a database. Okay. So to initialize or to make connection, I can write the connection code inside before class. Okay. And the close connection inside after class. Just like that, we have before test and after test. This before test and after test, it includes various classes together. Okay, inside a test, you can have various classes. Now, if you want to perform any activity at the test level, just before running all of these classes, that you can perform here in the test. Okay. Now, the last one here, before suite and after suite. Suite is a collection of test classes or your test methods. Okay. It's a collection where you have various test classes. Now, if I'm interested in writing some code that should be executed before the test or after the test or before they complete that package, what I'll do? So I'll use before suite and after suite. What kind of code I can write here? So the kind of code I can write here, I'm going to record the time when my program execution started. Okay. And in this, let's say I'm testing IT Learn 360 and I'm having different classes like test login, test homepage, test contact us page, and all this kind of information. So I want to note the time when my execution started and when my execution ended. So all this code I can write inside before suite and after suite. Okay, so these are different annotations that we have inside TestNG. Now, these are so many annotations that are not provided in JUnit or AnyUnit or any other framework. Okay, you can just look at this picture also. You have the test inside, then you have method, class, test, and suite. This is the complete hierarchy. Okay. So this is all about annotation. Now, TestNG also provides some other annotation other than the code running annotation, that is data provider, factory, and listener. Data provider annotation is used to write data-driven testing code. Okay, when you are giving some code that should run automatically, when you have to pass more than one value for any particular activity, then you can use data provider. Okay, so I'll give you one example for data provider. Let's see, we have IT Learn 360 here. Okay, now on this website, I'm going to test this all courses link. Okay, and I'm going to test whether Selenium training with Java is available or not. Is it clickable? Is it present? So when I click it, it will take me to this page. Okay, Here I'll check login. I can go to login. It will ask username, password, and login. Now, on this login page, we will give some username. Okay. In the first time, I can give a valid username, a valid password, and login. Okay. This will work. But hold on. When we are testing a website or anything, we have to test all the possible things that can happen here. Okay. We will test all the possible scenarios. Okay. I'll test all the combinations for username and password, all the possible combinations. Like I'll give a valid username. Okay, valid username, like username should not be a numerical value only. So I'll test here numerical value. I'll type some numerical value. Okay, and I'll not give any password and I'll click on login. Okay, and you can see it's not allowing me. Now the next time I'll not fill anything in the username, I'll just give some password and I'll click on login. Okay, the second test case. Now the third time, what I'll do, I'll leave this username blank and this password also blank, and I'll try to perform login. Again, it's not allowing me. Now the next time what I can do here is, I will write some value. That will be some alphabet, okay? But this is not a valid or a registered user. Okay, I'll give some unregistered password also and I'll try to log in. And I'll test it. Okay, it's still not allowing me. It's showing an error here on the top. You can see invalid username or lost your password. So all these things I have to test. All right, when you have to test so many combinations, you need to use data driven testing. That means you need to give more than one parameter or more than one value for this username and password. Okay, we have to check all the possible combinations that we can test here. So for that, we can use Excel sheet. I can prepare an Excel sheet just like username, password, and I'll give all the possible combinations there. Okay. Or I can use data provider. So we have seen data provider as one such annotations that you can directly use for data driven type of testing. Okay. This factory annotation, it's the same. You can use listeners to change your output or to change your report at any time. We'll discuss about listeners very soon. Okay. Now, I told you Selenium or TestNG provides you so many annotations. Other than this, TestNG also provides you a XML file of its own. Now, what does it mean? How your XML file looks like? Okay. So this is your XML file. This XML file, extensible markup language, okay? It starts with your text. So suite, test name, group, and here your class name. So it looks like this. You can directly execute this XML file. When you have to run more than one class at a time, what you will do, you can write your class names here and you can directly execute it. If you have different groups and you are interested in running some groups together, so you can use XML file. So the biggest advantage or the biggest feature provided by TestNG, that is you can directly execute it using XML file. Okay, because when you run a normal Java program, a normal Java class, right now I'm talking about Selenium with Java. Okay, so if you are running your code, you like if you are running a Selenium class directly, so at a time you can execute only one. Okay, now if you're interested in running so many classes or groups together, you need to use XML, and this is the easiest and the direct way. Just run it as a TestNG report and it will execute all of the written classes here or all of the written groups here. Okay, you just need to use these tags, group tag for the groups. Now we are discussing about groups. What is grouping or why do we need it? Okay, so grouping is about, let's assume we are testing ITIL on 360. Okay, it's our own website. I'm going to test it. Now on the website, we have various things. So right now I'm testing the search bar. I'm testing the login functionality, course view, contact, and the various other links. Okay. Now, all these things I'm testing on home page. Okay, if in case I want to group my test methods together and give them a name, then I'll use grouping. So TestNG provides your facility to group similar test methods together. Okay, individual groups can be executed by XML file. So here similar test methods you can group together and you can execute them by just writing the group name. Okay, this facility is not provided in any other testing framework. Now, this is about grouping. Now the next feature which is provided by TestNG is the priority and the ordering. Okay, so priority here is when you have so many methods inside a so many methods to get code. Like I'm performing search, I'll search, login, enroll, or access. Okay, let's assume we are on ITlearn 360, this website, and here I'm going to test student access. Okay, I'm a student and I'm interested in, hold on just a minute. Yes, let's go back to home page. Here I am interested in testing the access. Okay, so being a student, first of all, what I'll do, I'll search here my Selenium, I'll write TestNG. Then after that, I'll perform login. Okay, I'm sure after searching this course, I have to log in and I'll enroll myself and I'll be able to access the code. Okay, so this is the complete process. First of all, you will search it and you will go to login and you will enroll yourself, and then only you will be able to access the course on ITlearn 360. So this is the whole picture. Now we have different methods like test method search, @test search, @test login, @test enroll, @test access. Okay, so right now I have these four test methods. Now when I execute them, they will get executed in any order. In any order, it means it will get executed in the alphabetical order. It may access first, then enroll, then login, and then search. But this is not the actual scenario. I don't want it like this. Okay, there is a complete flow that it should follow, but it's not able to follow that flow. So for that, we have priority and ordering. With each test method, we can set the priority. Here, I'll set the priority equals to 1. I'll give the priority equals to 2, priority equals to 3 and 4. So they will get executed in this order. First of all, search will get executed, then login will get executed, enroll, and then access. Now, if you have any knowledge of JUnit and NUnit, then you might have seen that for JUnit and NUnit, priority is not available. This priority parameter is not given there. So to run any test method in an order, it more depends on the name of the method. Okay, so you have to select the method name like _1 search, _2 login, so that it get executed in the order. Okay, so it's very tedious task to give such kind of name, and such kind of names are not very friendly. So for this, we have priority and ordering in TestNG. Now the next concept that TestNG provides you is that dependency. Okay, in the real life scenario, we know when we are testing any website or when we are performing any activity, surely there is some dependency. Okay, dependency in the sense your one activity depends on another, and second and third, and like this, and it will keep on going. So here we have the scenario like my student access. Okay, my student access here, first of all, it will follow search, login, enroll, and access. Okay, so for this, my search and then login. Okay, so to perform login, first of all, I'll search it. Okay, and to access any course, I have to perform login. This is for sure. If here on ITlearn 360, if you want to access any code, any course, anything, then you have to be enrolled. If you are enrolled, then you can perform login and you can access the code. So there is definitely some dependency. So to show the dependency here inside TestNG, it provides you depends on method parameter that you can pass, and you can write, okay, what it is depending on. My access depends on login. It directly depends on login. If your login is failed, if your credentials are incorrect, that means you will not be able to access the content. Okay, and it will show you fail in your TestNG report, and it will display the message your credentials are incorrect. That's why your access method is not accessible. Okay, because you are not able to perform login. Now, skipping test. Skipping test is one more feature provided by TestNG. Like any method that is dependent on successful state of another method is skipped when leading method fails. Okay, that means in simpler terms, you can say if my access is dependent, my access and enroll are dependent on login. Okay, if they are dependent on login and in case my login fails, that means the respective dependent methods will be skipped. They will not get executed. I'll not get a message like enroll and access is failed. I'll get a message enroll and access are skipped because your login failed. So this is about skipping test. Okay. Now we have parallel execution. This is a feature provided by TestNG, and parallel execution, it means you can run the same code on multiple browsers and you can run multiple test classes at the same time by using the XML code. Okay, it supports various browsers like Chrome, Safari, Internet Explorer, etc. etc. So by XML, it's easy for you to run multiple browsers or to run multiple test classes. Now, we discuss one more point, that is invocation and thread pooling. This is completely new for us. Okay. Now, this invocation and thread pooling is about yeah. Now, invocation and thread pooling is about, see, when you have threads are your lightweight processes. Okay. So it provides you to test load on your particular test method. Okay, so it provides you an invocation property for TestNG that allows to call same test method multiple times. If you are going to call the method, if you want to call a method multiple times, then you can directly use invocation. Okay, and you can test the load on this by using thread pooling and invocation. Now, data-driven testing. Okay, what is data-driven testing? Your TestNG supports data-driven testing, and it's like if you don't know data-driven testing, and then knowing TestNG is useless. Okay, so practically, when you work in any organization, when you are testing any website or any application, it's mandatory that you test this website for all the possible parameters, for all the possible values. Okay, just like I told you just a minute ago, for login form, I have to give all the possible combinations for username and password and login. Okay, and then login. If my user is not registered, then giving the username and password, this activity should fail. Okay, so I have to check so many things here, so many parameters, so many combinations. So for this, we need data driven testing, the kind of testing that is driven by data. Okay, it is an automation framework where data is stored in tables or sheet. Here you prepare a table or a sheet. Sheet is just like you prepare an Excel sheet and you execute it. Now, it read your data from data file instead of using the same hard-coded parameters or same hard-coded values that you are giving. Okay, so this is about data-driven testing. Okay, so practical approach is you should always use data-driven testing. You will definitely be using when you will go to any industry, when you will actually work on automation testing or on Selenium. It's not like you will just give one parameter for username and password and your work is done. No, no, no. It's about you have to pass all the possible parameters and you have to check the report whether it's giving fail report for invalid parameters. Okay. Now, listeners. Listeners is the important concept provided by TestNG. Okay. Now, let's say we are human beings and we like to change the kind of result we see. Okay, now I like to keep on changing the things. For successful result, my output will say your result is successfully executed. Okay, but hold on, I don't like this message. I want to make some changes. I want something else should get printed. Okay, I want it should print, hooray, your test case is executed successfully. I want this kind of message. Okay, so to manipulate or to change your test result at any time, you can use listeners. Okay. Trust me, this facility or this property is not provided by any other framework or by any other tool in the automation field. Okay. So you can directly change the result and you can enjoy the output. So there are so many listeners, list of listeners that are available. These listeners are technically interfaces. If you have some knowledge of what is an interface, then you can easily understand. You just need to implement it in your class, and you can modify the kind of output you want to see, and just in 1 or 2 minutes you will be able to see your kind of output. Okay, what you can manipulate it according to your wish. Okay, now the listener, the name it suggests, it listen to the event defined in the Selenium script and respond accordingly. Okay, now listening to the event, it means if my test case is skipped because it was dependent on something else, okay, and I want a message to be displayed there, your test method failed because it was dependent on the previous method, this should be printed. Okay, so it listens the event that is skipped and it will print the message that I want. That is overall story of using listener, and how why do we need listener. Okay, it changed the way output is shown in the simpler terms. So here is a list of listener. TestNG provides you so many listeners like I annotation transformer, I annotation transformer 2, I configurable, I configuration listener, I execution listener, I reporter, I suit listener, I hookable. Okay, so there are so many listeners available. Now, why we have this much types of listeners available? Because they decide like what kind of output they can manipulate. Okay, if I just want to manipulate the successful in the failure output, I will use annotation transformer. If I want to change some other kind of output, I'll use a different kind of listener. Okay, it's very easy and simple. Don't go with these names. They looks very tough and very hard, but the functioning and the concept is very easy and very simple. Okay, this TestNG report, it listens to you and it provides you the result the way you want. Now here comes the most awaited topic of TestNG, that is TestNG report. Okay, so you have written your TestNG code, you will execute it as TestNG and it will provide you a user-friendly report. A user-friendly report is like that you can directly see and understand everything. Okay, like here we can see this website and you can say how user friendly it is, because here everything is very easy to understand. You can understand each and everything written over here. Just like that, it will provide you a HTML report. Okay, it provides a normal index.html report which contain the information like an error, groups, time, reporter log, TestNG XML file, etc., etc. Okay, it also provides you a summarized emailable report that you can directly send and which will be very easy to understand, and you can see okay where the problem is, this is where we have to give some time. All right. So this is all about Selenium automation and TestNG. We have seen why companies are moving towards TestNG. Okay, because TestNG provides you so many additional things that are not provided by any other framework. Okay, we have discussed so many technical concepts. All right, we discussed about annotations and the XML file and the listeners and the reports. Okay, now here, I would like to show you one more concept. I would like to discuss one more thing, that is Maven. Okay, Maven is like a part of our Selenium and TestNG. We'll see what is Maven. Yeah, Maven is an Apache product. Okay, the meaning of this word Maven is an accumulator of knowledge. Okay, it's a collection of knowledge. It is a tool that can be used for building and managing any Java based project. Okay, when you are working on Java especially, it's very good that you will use Maven. Now why we are discussing Maven here? Okay, because I think Maven is a very important term. It's not a very big concept, it's very simple, and whatever we will discuss here, that's enough. Okay, and everyone in the industry is using Maven. Okay, I don't want you to get surprised. Okay, we discussed what is TestNG and we are completely unaware of Maven. So here is a short introduction. First of all, we are looking into some technical terms. What is a Maven? Okay, now Maven makes your build process easy. It provides you a unique building system. So overall, Maven provides you a unique building system for your Java based projects. Okay, It provides you easy way to manage your information. When you're working on Java or on any tool, you have so many projects, so many classes and packages, and it's very hard to manage them. Okay. Now to manage them, we have this tool Maven. Okay. Now Maven is a powerful project management tool used for projects build, dependency, and documentation. And how it's this much powerful, we'll see. Okay. Now Maven advantage. If we have normal Java project, let's assume for now, if we are working on Eclipse and we are working on Selenium with Java, okay? Then why do we need to use Maven? Okay, why will I create a Maven project? So the advantage is that when you work on normal Java project, you need to import the jar file for everything. Okay, if you are working on Selenium, okay, you might not be aware of Selenium. So if you're working on Selenium, okay, if you want to get started with Selenium, the very first thing that you have to do is download the Selenium jar file, import it in your project, and then only you can write the Selenium code, and then you will be able to execute your code. Okay, so you need to download and set the jar files, and when you download jar files, you have multiple jar files that have to interact with one another. There is a problem of version compatibility. Okay, so to overcome all such kind of problems, we have Maven. Okay, when you create a Maven project, you need not to download any jar file. You can directly go to POM file and type the dependency here. This dependency you can get from the central Maven repository. Copy and paste here in your POM file, and it will automatically get installed. Okay, you need not to worry about which version it's installing or what it's doing. It will do automatically. Okay, now Maven, it's about creating the right project structure. Okay, Maven provides your right project structure. What is that right project structure? It's like here, this is your Maven project structure. Inside your Maven project, you have source main Java. Okay, this is your default structure I'm showing here. So for IT Learn 360, I have, this is my Maven project. You can see a small M here. It stands for a Maven. All right. Now here we have source main Java. In this, I have a default package com.test.itlearn360. And this is app.java. Some default structure is written in this .java class. Okay. Now in this source main Java, I can write my normal code. Okay. Normal development related code I can write here. I have another package that is source test Java. Okay, if I want to write any testing related code, that I can directly write here in this source test Java. Okay, when you will open this app test.java, it will give you at the rate test annotation and the method name. Okay, so it will give you a default structure. So here, the structure is very clear and precise. Whatever the normal code you are writing, you can write here in source main Java. Whatever the code testing related stuff you want to write it inside source test Java. Okay. So it's like a universal, clear and organized way in which you can create a project. Here we have this normal JRE system like this and this Maven dependency. Okay, so whatever Maven dependency or the jar files that are downloaded by Maven itself are inside Maven dependency. It provides you a target file, okay, where your previous build is present. You can clean it, you can run it, you can compile it. There are various goals provided by Maven. Okay, if at any time you want to clean your previous build, just right click on your project and click on Maven clean. It will clean your this target folder. Okay, and your previous execution will get deleted. Okay, if you want to install your program, you want to deploy it, just right click and type Maven goal equals to deploy, Maven goal equals to install. Okay, you can write compile also there. If you want to compile, if you want to make this project IT Learn 360 as a jar file, if you want to convert it into a jar file, just right click on the project, go to the Maven build and type there convert to jar file, and it will be converted. Okay, so this is very easy to work with Maven. Also, here it provides you pom.xml. Pom.xml, it's kind of superhero of Maven. Okay. Now, POM stands for Page Object Model. Okay. So, Page Object Model, it is a place where you will write your dependency. Okay. Writing your dependency, it's like I told you, instead of downloading jar file manually, you just have to write dependency here. Now, how you will know how to write dependency or all this? So what you have to do, just go to Google and type there, type there Selenium dependency. When you will hit enter, it will give you Selenium dependency 4 to 5 lines that you have to copy and paste here and control save, and it will be automatically come into this Maven dependency. Okay, it will automatically download and install that Selenium dependency or Selenium jar file to your project. So it's very easy. It provides you a proper way, organized way of giving documentation or giving the project structure. Now, Maven repository, from where you will get those POM files or those dependencies or jar files. Okay, so a repository is a directory where all the project jar, library jar, plugins, or any other project is present. Okay, so here we have 3 types of repository. See, when you are running a Maven, okay, and you install something on your system, like I installed Selenium jar file using Maven. Okay, so it will be present in my local repository. Okay, now if it's not present in my local repository, I can go to a remote repository. This can be a repository of my complete organization. Like for ITlearn 360, we have a repository there. We have all the dependencies available. I can go and search there and use it. Okay. Now there is one more level, that is internet repository. At this level, you can directly go to Google and search your repository from there. This is a centralized Maven repository where you can find dependency file or the dependency statement for each and every kind of jar file that you want. Okay, so all of your dependencies are available here. So it's very easy to work with Maven. Just go to Google. If you don't have any dependency, type your dependency name, copy, paste, and put it inside your pom.xml, save your project, and it will start running. Okay, so this is the advantage of using Maven repository. All right, so we discussed about automation testing. Why do we need to automate something, and what is Selenium, and why do we need to use TestNG? Why TestNG is such a popular tool? We discussed everything in detail. Okay, we have not done anything practical here. We have just taken an overview, an introduction of each and every concept that is related to TestNG, Selenium, and automation. Okay, I hope this webinar was helpful for you. I'm able to add something in your knowledge, and you are able to understand the whole picture of using TestNG with Selenium and using Selenium for automation. Okay, and why nowadays everyone is talking about Selenium and TestNG. Why this combination is so popular and so powerful that it's breaking the records. Okay, so for this, yeah, I hope I'm able to add something to your knowledge. We discussed everything, and if you have any queries, anything related, you have any doubt, any confusion in your mind, write in the comment box, or I'll give you 2 minutes. You can ask it here if you have anything that you want me to tell. Okay. All right. If you don't have any queries for now, that's fine. If later on you get any doubt, you have any confusion, or you want me to put something or to forward any new knowledge or any new concept, just let me know. Write in the comment box, and you can write your queries also there, or at any time you can contact us on itlearn360.com. Okay. I hope this webinar was good. Thank you so much for your time and the patience.